Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler.
What is happening, lock shoppers, nasties? Welcome to the Lock Shop presented by Play Alberta. Why limit your choices when you can have it all? Play Alberta is your go-to app for casino games, sports, betting, and lottery all in one place. With easy access to real money games, you can enjoy everything Alberta has to offer right at your fingertips. Download Play Alberta now and start playing today. Looking over at the Play Alberta specials page. That's the EST specials. What do we got here? Hernet, I just heard you guys you cooked up something pretty good on the morning show. The early bird bet.
Yeah, we're just figuring out the goal scorer for the soccer game.
Oh, you're going soccer.
Sorry? Yeah, I bet so.
Oh, so it's done. Nobody can get on it. Not anymore.
It's right, okay.
Well, for those of you that did, Hernan, I hope you were on it. Good luck.
We hit the early bird yesterday.
Yesterday, I saw that. So what was the odds on that?
It was plus 385.
Hey.
Spurs to win.
Well done.
Rockets to cover, and Wem to have over 20 points. He finished with 21.
West Edmonton Mall?
It was good, man. It was good. We got Trev involved in it, so because Dusty won't let him bet when he's here. So
what?
The young man joined us yesterday.
Is it an age restriction or?
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
And then
well, now if Trev is successful, you're going to have to take this information back to the boss man.
Yes, we have.
Say, look, you're missing out on a valuable resource. We'll get Huss on here shortly. Look, just before during the hangout, we were sitting in the bullpen. Obviously, Elliot Friedman reported. I would say, this is kind of the kicking off trade to this trade deadline week, which is next Friday. I guess there's 10 days left or thereabouts. So Samuel Girard and a second round pick in 2028 going to Pittsburgh. In return, the Colorado Avalanche are getting a familiar name for this market in Brett Kulak. Hernan, what's your original thoughts when you saw this? Because originally the second round pick wasn't noted.
Yeah.
But it was Girard to the Penguins for Kulak going back to the Avalanche. What do you think?
I kind of like it for both teams. Kulak, as steady as they come. I think Colorado's really going to see his value in the playoffs. I think he's defensively an upgrade on Girard. Now, on the flip side, Pittsburgh's getting a better puck mover.
Yeah.
A little guy with a little bit more offensive zip than Brad Kulak. So I like it for both teams. He's going to help the Letangs and the Carlsons there. He's okay defensively. He's dealt with a lot of injuries, Jay. So it's kind of, in that sense, it's concerning. But I like it for both teams, but I like it more for Colorado because we've seen here firsthand what Kulak turns into in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Colorado's going to the playoffs. He's just going to make them that much better. Not only that, they get to save 2.25 in cap space.
Yep.
Colorado's not done.
No, and I was looking at their Puckpedia. And it always baffles me to look at other teams because we just focus on Edmonton, which is cap hell. But they still have $6.5 million in current cap space.
Yeah.
This deal hasn't been applied to that, so they're going to be closer to the $9 million range in cap space, which for the Colorado Avalanche is an incredible amount of money. They can go get some more pieces if they even need any. Hernan,
that's a good player.
That's a good player.
I feel like they're going to try to add a player that can play in their second, third line, like a guy that can kind of go either way and he'll be fine.
Like a Mangiapane.
Ooh, maybe. But yeah, because their first line's set. Second line's pretty good. They got good depth, but I think they want to add to it. I think they're set on defense right now. Makar, Taves, you have Burns is there, right? Brent Burns,
and he's sixth on the team in minutes.
Yeah.
He's logging some minutes, and this is a team that has the offensive defenseman in place. So maybe that's what made Samuel Girard a little bit more expendable. Now, what do you think of this, Hernan? Let's go back to the Skinner for Kulak, or Skinner and Kulak for Jari. what if that could have been a three-way at that point and the Oilers have Samuel Girard coming back?
Well, it's funny because yesterday we were talking.
Oh, wait, they couldn't do it because they don't have the cap space.
They don't have the cap space. We were talking about this yesterday, how Kulak might be the one that's going to hurt the Oilers the most this year, like having to throw him in. And I mean that, and with all respect in the world, he wasn't a throw-in, but Pittsburgh wasn't dumb. They're like, you guys want Jari? Yeah, we'll take Skinner, but you're going to throw in Kulak for us as well, right? So
seems like the Oilers seem to be on that end of the deal more than not.
Yeah, it's almost like they don't negotiate. It's just like, this is what we have. Okay, let's do it. Well, look at all their deals they've signed, all the no movements. Like when Matthias Janmark has a modified no movement, like what the hell are we doing? Seriously.
Well, and you look at the Oilers Puckpedia and their no moves everywhere. I was joking with you guys. It's like, okay, here's three guys that you have free to trade. Kapanen, Podkolzin, and Emberson.
Yeah. And that's the thing, Jay, where, I mean, at least Mangiapane's willing to lift his no movement to move because it's not working out here. And the Oilers are going to need a lot more of that if they want to try to build this team. Because sure, next year Enrique's off the books, but Wallman's $7 million kicks in. Ekholm's new deal kicks in. Like, it's just...
Are you more of the side of the train of thought, Hernan, that the Oilers should maybe just chill out this trade deadline and not make any rash moves? Because by all accounts, and I mean, the numbers show it, this is not the same team as years past.
No.
This is not a team that you could look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is a Stanley Cup contending team. I don't see it. I know a lot of other media members don't see it. Is that something you would, maybe like to see from the Oilers? Is less is more?
I heard you guys talking about this yesterday on your show with Reed. And it's interesting because one part of me says, yes, like this is not the year. But then on the other side, I know you had a bunch of people texting in saying, you can't waste McDavid years.
Yeah.
Like you can't just take a year off and say, it's not our year, guys, right? So I understand both sides of it. You know what, Jay? This 3-game West Coast road trip, I think, is going to say a lot. Like if they go 0-2-1, does Bowman just pull back and say, yeah, guys, is one player really going to turn this team around? Well, because they're not getting a guy they're not getting the elite of the elite because they can't. They have no money. And no one can get traded on this team.
Mm-hmm.
So the player you're bringing in, I mean, how much impact is he really going to have on this team?
Yeah, they're in a little bit of a pickle.
Oh yeah,
and time's running out. You only after this season have 2 more years guaranteed of Connor McDavid, and if good things don't happen, who's to say what will happen with him?
Well, we've been joking on the morning show that, I mean, number 97's probably enjoyed playing with Celebrini.
Oh, I remember during some of those games, some of the people were commenting and saying, look what McDavid can do with proper wingers. And it's like, come on. Like the cap, that just is not reality. This is an all-star team at the Olympics.
I just want to say, Doug, the guy I picked to score a goal today in the Atletico Madrid game, he scored.
Come on.
Let's go, baby.
So what else do you need?
We need quickly 20 points and 76ers to cover.
Oh, boy. And that's a decent number.
Go 2 for 2.
Gosh,
plus 985.
Oh, my word. Well, good luck to you all. With that, we will bring in our dear friend from Winnipeg Sports Talk. It's the Hustler. How you doing today, buddy?
What up, glue guy? I'm a bit better than I was yesterday.
Yeah. I wanted to check in on the levels, see how, now you're 48 hours or thereabouts out from the Canada loss. But what, I'll start it off here, Huss. What was the general reaction from Winnipeg fans? Was it mixed?
I mean, mixed. Listen, everyone was choked that we lost. I mean, that was uniform, and it doesn't matter how big of a Hellebuck fan you are. People were disappointed that Canada didn't win a gold medal. There was and this this is where it gets tricky. Certainly from my perspective, like, I feel great for Hellebuck that he was able to do that and, shove it up a whole bunch of naysayers. And I think long-term, that's going to be great for the Jets. It'll be great for him. If you're a Jet fan, it'll be great that you don't have to hear about this. You'll always have that. Now, there is an element that you'd like to see that manifest itself into a real long playoff run. But I think it shines a little bit more of a light on, the roster construction and, what this team wasn't doing at times where they didn't. I mean, like Hellebuck got blamed for a lot, but it wasn't like, oh, the team was playing at the exact same level they had all season long and lost in the fashion that they did. But you guys have no Americans on, like no Olympian Americans on your team, right?
No.
I envy you because right now, as inevitably it gets in social media.
Oh yeah.
There's all of this political BS that we have to deal with about it. And I mean, there's some people that are like outraged that Hellebuck and Connor would be with their team and go to the White House, and the people that just hate Trump, of which there are many, and I get it. And then, of course, you've got the other people that are like, the people on the extremes of both sides are really trying to make this into something that is not about hockey at all. And it puts those players and everybody in a really, really terrible position. Now, a lot of that comes from what happened in the aftermath of it. And listen, Matthew Tkachuk, I think, is a massive MAGA guy. He's had his nose up Trump's, before. He's slurping him big time. And I would imagine that he was probably the guy that brought in Kash Patel in there, which turned a lot of people off, and I get it. But like, to all of a sudden make his presence there and the fact that they're going to the White House as gold medal champs for USA, all of a sudden turns into a political statement by every player on the team, to me is a joke, but yet that's a lot of what we deal with. So I'm really hoping that just today we'll pass, and we'll get back to playing hockey tomorrow. And when the guys come back to Winnipeg, they'll be congratulated, and then they'll worry about moving forward. So that is an unfortunate side of all of this, and in particular with Hellebuck, because he wasn't just any guy on the team. He was the guy that basically stole the gold medal from us.
Yeah.
But like so many of these things, I think there's like a 48, 72 hour cycle of it. And then, we get back to business going forward, because as you guys just talked about, I mean, dude, the trade deadline is looming, and maybe the Jets have a bit of an advantage over teams like the Leafs, and I mean, I wouldn't suggest the Panthers are in that group, but some of the other teams that are a little bit more in. Do you spend assets? Do you make a big move to try to just get yourself in a chip in a chair? I would argue in the East, if you're an East team, it is as wide open as it's maybe ever been.
Yeah.
With a couple teams that are missing the playoffs. I kind of think of the East in some ways as kind of like the NFL was this year in the AFC, where there's a whole bunch of teams that you probably expected to be a heck of a lot better that are usually there, that aren't there right now. I mean, like Jack Hughes was the hero. Everyone had all these high hopes for Jersey. Well, they're probably not making the playoffs. The New York Rangers were expected to have a big bounce back season this year. They're last place. The Florida Panthers, they're 8 out, last place in their division. They're probably not making it. And the Leafs have been a consistent, contender or one of those top teams. So, like, if you are a team like Columbus, for instance, that has battled all the way back, like, whatever, they're probably not going to win the cup, but getting to the playoffs would be massive for the organization. Buffalo as well, making sure they're staying in a spot. Like, to me, those teams I think are going to need to be and will be really aggressive at the deadline. But in the West, a team like the Jets, they're kind of sitting there and going, okay, well, it sounds like Jonathan Toews does not want to be traded. He's got a full no move, and he's planning on staying here. I think he'd like to play another year, so I think he'll stay. And that's good. Although I think there would have been a taker. Like, it kind of would have been great if he said, hey, I want to come back in the off season, but if this helps the team, I'll accept a trade and I'll go somewhere for a playoff run. That may have been the best of both worlds, but it doesn't seem like that's happening. So, we sit here and look around the periphery of a bunch of underperforming guys on UFA deals and see if they can make anything out of that or potentially something bigger. But just while you and Hernan were talking, I was looking at the Oilers. I was looking at the Puckpedia for the Oilers.
Nah, just don't do it. Just gloss over it, okay? It's awful.
The anchors, man, the anchors, which is the sign on Puckpedia of the no movement clause. I've never seen anything like it.
Right? I mean, this is unlike any,
like it. And here's the thing, why I bring Winnipeg into it, because I was thinking, and by the way, like I know you guys have said the take, hey, it just doesn't look like this is the year. I don't think we should put too much stock into the first 58 games for the Oilers.
Okay.
Because this team has been to the Cup final the last 2 years. There is so much that gets taken out of you. The season is a marathon. We knew the Olympics were coming up, which was going to be huge for the biggest players on that team. Like, listen, they're where they need to be right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to find out more about the Oilers and how ready this team is, how ready the goaltending is, which I know will be a big topic continually in Edmonton until, the end of the season. But you give McDavid and Draisaitl, a week or so just to kind of get back to where they are. I think that both of them, but particularly McDavid, is going to be as dialed and locked in as ever. And guess what? Every team in the league would probably, maybe not every team would just swap team for team, but I mean, if you have that guy with where his headspace is at right now, they will definitely have a chance to win. But you would like to make the team better. So I'm looking at the Oilers here and I'm like, okay, what can they do? And then it's just anchor. Like, even if a team like Winnipeg, who has cap space, would be able to say, all right, guys, let's make some sort of a deal. We'll take a body off for you, and you can give us a second round pick or whatever it is to open up the spot to get the guy that you guys want to get. Who could they even move for cap space?
That's just it. I mean, it has been reported that Andrew Mangiapane is willing to lift his no trade clause to move. And just as recent as last weekend on Hello Hockey here on Edmonton Sports Talk, David Pagnotta reported that, yes, they're still in talks with a few teams on trying to move Andrew Mangiapane. But that's really the only piece I see. The other pieces that are loose, you have great value on in Kapanen, Podkolzin, Emberson. I don't think Emberson is a chip that you necessarily want to throw into something because he's improving. These are young players that are taking the right steps that, unfortunately, I feel in years past, this organization has been too quick to just let go in the hopes of, instant success.
Well, here's the thing. Even if it was a no-brainer to do those guys, and even if they weren't really contributing and you didn't care, I mean, the highest paid player of all those guys is $1.3 million.
Exactly. Well, Mangiapane's a little higher.
Okay, sorry. I just mean of those other players.
Sure.
Yeah, the Mangiapane's interesting. It's 3.6. But the fact that he has the no trade clause, he'll waive it, but he'll waive it maybe to a group of teams that he would go to.
Well, probably playoff contending teams, which is why, if Winnipeg came knocking at the door, right now, he ain't waiving the no move clause to go to Winnipeg because he's still in control of where he would go.
Unless he looks at that roster and realizes, okay, I'm a top 6 guy next year. And I think that if that was going to happen, though, I'm sure they had talked about this. I thought that done. We'd tossed around, the possibility of a Mangiapane for Nyquist trade, where, you're probably getting the lesser of the players, certainly based on what's happened this year. But you get out of the $3.6 million on the cap next year for Mangiapane. Mm-hmm. And certainly for him, I mean, switching the deck chairs and coming to a place like this where he probably play a lot more and, get a real opportunity. Because that's the one thing the Jets have been really struggling with this year is scoring outside of that top line. But that's the biggest challenge. I mean, for Stan Bowman, and listen, it is of their own doing that they find themselves in this situation that, so many guys just simply can't be moved.
Well, and that's the the thing that it kind of, it's too bad because a lot of this blame goes on Chris Knobloch, the Oilers head coach, and saying, well, he's not this enough. He's not managing his rolling out his lineup efficiently enough or effectively enough. But it wasn't Chris Knoblauch that signed Trent Frederick to a 7-year deal. It wasn't Chris Knoblauch that locked up Jake Wallman, although it's early in on Jake Wallman, but the early results aren't exactly all that appealing. It wasn't Chris Knoblauch that signed Andrew Mangiapane. The roster construction here is something that is almost constantly being shuffled under the carpet because it's not in your face every day. But I think a lot of this falls on the Oilers management group and just the complete lack of control in negotiating deals. And like Trent Frederick, that deal was struck because, at least from what we've heard here, was that that Trent Frederick could have got that same deal or offer somewhere else. I mean, in hindsight, you'd say, see you later. But they felt compelled and they felt almost pressured into making that deal, which has not worked out at all.
No, I mean, I remember doing the lock shop the day after that deal was signed. And listen, I mean, I wasn't coming in to ruffle any feathers, but I mean, I just said, did I hear 8 years with a full no move?
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
For Trent Frederick? And listen, has he been the player he was in Boston? Probably not. And listen, he's still a relatively young guy. He's 28, so he should be in his prime right now. I mean, that's the most concerning thing. If year one of an 8-year deal is a very underwhelming, underperforming year, you better get it together in a hurry, because history will tell you that years 6, 7, and 8 of those deals, when guys are 34, 35, 36, usually aren't what they are when the guy's 28, 29, 30 years old right now. So I have a hard time, they obviously have traded their first rounder this year already.
Mm-hmm.
They've got their second and they've got their third. And then they do have their first and seconds the next 2 years. But this is the thing, they're in such cap hell. Even if you said, okay, here's a guy we really want, we'll trade you our 2027 first round pick. How do the numbers work?
Well, that's just it.
Player. If it's a $4 or $5 million player,
there'd have to be,
unless you're shutting somebody down.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be cap compliant for the playoffs now. So, I mean, it's not and it doesn't really seem like anyone is really, I guess Henrique's on LTIR right now, but that's still going to do it. So more than ever, I think that, these guys in the room need to be a lot of times teams right around the deadline, everyone's on kind of pins and needles. They're like, oh, am I getting traded? Am I not? I mean, I think these guys need to look at each other, and more so 97 needs to look at everyone and say, guys, this is our team. We need to figure it out. Let's go and, let's take this next step on this road trip, come back and, be trending in a really positive direction when we're ready to jump in and try and play 2 more months of hockey and win that 16th game that's eluded us by a pretty narrow margin the last 2 years.
Yeah, and coming out of the break, I mean, last year out of the Four Nations face-off, I believe they were 3-7 on their next 10 games after the break. This team does not play that well coming out of a break. So I'm not holding my breath for this mini 3-game stand here, taking them into the weekend. But if they can turn some heads and, let's say, out of those 6 points get 4, heck, 5, 4 or 5 points, I think that's a victory and that's a step in the right direction. But that's what this team has been doing this whole year, Huss. This 3-game win streak has eluded them. They got it once, and then they had 2 games to finish it off at home prior to the Olympic break, and they laid eggs. The consistency on this team is a problem. They cannot get it together. And Reed and I were talking on the show yesterday how there hasn't been that one moment where you can look at a stretch of, say, I don't know, 10 games. 10 games is usually a number that's thrown around, last 10, blah, blah, blah. I don't think you could say this entire season that an Oilers fan could sit and say, oh, they put it together for that stretch. That was a good stretch. Yeah, they lost a couple. You're not going to win everything. But they put it together. They resembled a competent, functioning, moving in the same direction hockey team. You just can't say that, which has happened in years past, especially at this time of the season as you're ramping up, as you're building in the hopes of going on a long playoff run.
I guess they did finally win 3 in a row in those the Caps Ducks.
And they had to
Sharks.
come back from 3-0 down against the San Jose Sharks to win that with 2 empty net goals and an overtime victory to get it. I mean, that right there, Huss, is a synopsis, a snapshot of the season.
Well, I mean, listen, okay, they did that in that game, and oh, great, we finally won 3 in a row. Well, they followed that up with 3 losses in a row.
Exactly.
So they lost to the Wild, the Leafs, and the Flames heading into the break. So it's kind of funny. The Ducks, both our teams are going to be seeing the Ducks right away. And, I was just looking at the standings and, listen, I'm probably as guilty as anyone of just thinking that there's like there's Vegas and Edmonton, and then there's a gap and there's everybody else. But Seattle and Anaheim are 1 point back of the Oilers and both have 2 games in hand. Like if you put this out to points percentage, and average it out based on, time, the Oilers actually would be in a wild card right now. They'd be behind both of those teams based on it. So some pretty important games. Now, what have they said about McDavid? Are they expecting him to play tomorrow night?
Well, what I've heard, and it's nothing reported, but from what, I've heard on our station, just kind of on social media, is there is a feeling that he may not play tomorrow or Thursday, but wait till the Saturday matinee game in San Jose to make his return. But you look at what is going on in Toronto right now, and it's all cleared and go for Austin Matthews to play tomorrow. So unless there's an injury or that we are not aware of, I mean, there was images or I guess reports that Connor McDavid had his 2 fingers taped together, so maybe he's got some sort of an issue there. TBD. I guess we won't really know. They are skating today, I believe, and that is, let me just look here. Yeah, they skate at 12:30 our time. So we're going to have some comments coming through the afternoon on what the Oilers lineup looks like tomorrow, especially throughout EST afternoons with Matthew Wannock and then the Reed Wilkins show here. So we'll keep everybody up to date as to what is happening down in Anaheim. But even tomorrow in Anaheim, that's a 4-point game right now.
Huge game.
Right? If you can get one of those games in hand as a win, that's a big jumping off point for this team. I myself, I don't have a good feeling about it. Why would I? Why would I, after watching this team limp into the Olympic break? Traditionally, they're not good coming out of said breaks or breaks like that. Yeah. I think this is a bad road trip where they need it the least. And by the way, it doesn't get much better. I mean, you look at, March, they see Vegas. They're at Vegas, at Colorado, at Dallas, at St. Louis. March 8th through the 13th. Like that's a
heavy road trip.
But I mean, hey, if this team can respond and get those, some much needed victories and pad some numbers and build up some points, well, that maybe you're onto something. But I think for Oilers faithful, it's there is a sense that this is just a different team this year, a different year, and maybe they just don't have the firepower that they have due to roster construction. But, I go ahead.
I'll just say this. Like, listen, this team is going to be taken as far as Connor and Leon take them. Obviously, you're going to need to get saves. But right now, this is a huge opportunity for some of the guys that have been passengers for a good portion of this year to step up and help this team when they really do need it. When their captain is gassed and has the Olympic hangover of, I'll kind of liken the first couple of weeks of coming back from the break as sort of what this team was like coming into the season, after the playoff run and, a little bit of a break. I mean, this is a time for the guy. Evan Bouchard wasn't there. Like, you know what, Evan, you've had some big games this year. Now would be a great time to really, kind of add in some offense and take care of business. Nuge, you've been a legend, of this team, so consistent for so long. You know what, Nuge? Now would be a great time to sort of carry the mail. Obviously, Zach Hyman, you know what you're getting from him. But I'm thinking like Jack Roslovic, Savoy, like a great time for these guys to show that, hey, they've been ready. They can't wait to get back playing and, have a few big games.
Sure.
So it's not all on 97 and 29 to kind of get things going. And I'll tell you what, if that happened, all of a sudden, I think the conversations and the people's thoughts about the Oilers would be significantly different.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Hutz, is some of the players that weren't there, even the Zach Hyman, although Zach Hyman's been playing great, Matthias Ekholm, some of these leaders of the team that had this time off can shoulder some of that weight. A player like Jack Roslovic, though, if he can get going again, somewhat similar to how he started, he went like this, and then by all accounts, he's been known to kind of shut down for a bit, and then he's streaky. But if he can start streaking in the right direction and help drive that third line, that would be huge for this team for sure. Because I think the top two lines, although we talked about Podkolzin yesterday, I think the top two lines, if Kapanen can keep going at this clip as well, mind you, he's nicked up right now, so I'm not sure how the lines are going to look tomorrow. But yeah, we'll see. This is a huge 3-game mini road trip coming out of the Olympic break for sure. Hey, did you do something pretty good there last night on TGL? The old TGL Hus?
You know what? I love the TGL. And I didn't realize, like, when I was looking while we were on, I didn't see anything. And then at the end of the show, I realized that we had a doubleheader last night.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting one. It was Atlanta Drive versus Boston Common in the early one. And then there was a 2-hour break. And then it was Atlanta again playing against LA. So I bet both of the games, both of the matches individually, and then parlayed them both, went 2-0. So on such a night where there was absolutely nothing going on sports-wise, still managed to have a nice night for the account. So
I bet you the lines were flying for the TGL last night because it was a pretty quiet night, right?
Well, it was. And the thing is, like, I think their books are still getting used to kind of, like laying numbers on these games. Because let me just look. Like,
I'm looking right now, and I know there's the New York Golf Club taking on the Bay. Yeah. And then followed up by Boston Common taking on New York. I don't see any lines right now.
You haven't seen them? PA doesn't have them?
No, not yet.
I'm sure I'll be able to find something on this. For last night, Boston had been really good, and Rory was playing for Boston. I just thought Rory had just played, on the West Coast the day before, rushing to come over. Like, he just finished second. How dialed in is he going to be for the TGL? And Atlanta was awesome last year. And Justin Thomas is playing. Like, he still is not back on tour yet, but he's been playing for this. So he was good. So anyways, they won sort of coming away. But here's the thing about TGL. And because they've got some extra guys on each team. There's only 3 guys playing. You got to go to the website, and it gives you the playing, like it'll tell you who's playing.
Okay.
Because I was big on Atlanta in the first game. And then, I saw the LA roster, which was Morikawa and Tommy Fleetwood were both there, along with Justin Rose. And I'm like, okay, Morikawa and Fleetwood, sort of same with Rory. They were just playing, so they've got to make it all the way over. But then I looked at the Atlanta lineup, and they had taken out Chris Gotterup and taken out, who was the other guy? Somebody else, and replaced him with Billy Ho, who I like, and Billy Ho has been good. He was good in TGL last year. But Lucas Glover, this guy, not only was he terrible, but he looked like, and maybe it was because he was playing so bad, he was almost embarrassed that he was in this situation, but he wasn't saying a lot, and he did not look like he was having a very good time. And LA absolutely murdered them last night. So it was very, very nice. But I do have I've got the match previews for today's action.
Yeah, I got those pulled up here as well. So it's New York versus the Bay.
Yeah.
So you got for New York. Who's your
different
starting
lineups for New York from the early one to the third one. By the way, one other fun thing, if you haven't checked this out, if you go to TGL Golf, whatever their website is, tglgolf.com, and you're new, you can take this test where it just asks you all these questions about what you prefer, and then I guess some algorithm spits out who is your team.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I have been assigned to the Bay.
Okay.
And I do love my guy, the chef, Minwoo Lee. Not a big Wyndham Clark fan. But that's the team. So tonight it's Ludwig Oberg, Wyndham Clark, and Shane Lowry for the Bay against a pretty good lineup for New York.
Yeah.
Xander Schauffele, Matty Fitzpatrick, and Ricky Fowler. So that's the early game. Then later on,
I like the later game better, Huss, for lineups.
Oh yeah, for big time. Yeah. So the Boston has swapped out Rory and Michael Thorbjornsen for Adam Scott and Hideki, along with Keegan. And then for the late game, Xander and Ricky Fowler are going to play, but Matt Fitzpatrick's out and Cameron Young is in. So let me see if I can find TGL odds right now. I had to really dig yesterday.
Now, when you're trying to bet this, are you betting just outright, or are you betting? Is there a winning margin as well?
You know what? That's a good question. I am usually just betting I think it's usually just the money line. It's just the match winner.
Right.
So right now there's no Boston. I'm not seeing a Boston Common line as of yet, but the Bay is minus 103 and New York's minus 120. So New York, a little bit of a favorite with that Xander, Fitz, Ricky. Feeling good about my picks yesterday. I think I might go with my new team, the Bay, although I really would have loved if Minwoo was in.
Okay. Well, I can ask. I can send it over to the good people over at Play Alberta to see if they can offer TGL lines.
I mean, put it this way, it probably doesn't get a lot of action normally.
But no, just from degenerates like us.
Well, and listen, once NFL ends,
right?
They play these games on Monday and Tuesday nights. And if you're not a college basketball guy, sometimes there's very little hockey on a few. I mean, although that won't be the case the rest of the way now with all of this, but it's really neat. I have to admit, I mean, if you look in that thing that we were just talking about with the with the lineups, it also shows the course that they're going to be using.
Yeah, it's a very good website.
They did a thing last night with one of the guys that was the course designers. And they're real golf course designers, but then they work with some people to create things that in the real world wouldn't really be possible.
Sure.
So it's kind of like you have the best players in the world playing these dream courses that you would maybe play in a video game or something like that. And yet they're doing it. It is really, really neat. They debuted a couple ones. One was in a cavern, and the guys had to
the stinger
off the tee. Yeah, this thing they had to hit. They were, they've got the numbers for everything. 2 degrees of loft is what they were hitting, and they were still managing to smash them 280. It was so cool. Yeah,
I'm looking at that right now. That's hole 8 tonight is the stinger. It's a par 4, but your tee box is set back. You have to tee off under. You probably have to keep this thing under 50 feet off the ground to be able to get under it.
Try
and
25.
I saw Keegan Bradley doing a lot, and it just is amazing to see these guys that they can do that.
Yeah, no, there was they debuted a couple new ones. There's a couple of other just fun ones. Anyways, I love it. I found I was very like, oh, let's see what it is. And now I find, and now listen, it's off and on, or I'm watching it on nights where there is absolutely nothing else going on. And it was nice to win the first game, knowing that I had a live parlay for the second one. But I probably of the 4 hours that it was on last night, I probably watched 3. And the other cool thing is, you get a chance to see these guys in a way looser atmosphere, sort of playing together. Like, I love the Ryder Cup. The one thing that I think Liv has just blown so magnificently is that they put this together and it was supposed to be all about team golf and stuff. And like, even this year, I was watching, when Anthony Kim won in Adelaide, and, at least this year they were putting up the team scoreboard, but you still didn't know how that was distributed between the players, who had as many holes left. I guess the holes are somewhat similar because it's basically a shotgun start, but who the guys were making that were making it happen, who the guys that were struggling, where that was. I mean, it's just, you have no idea really what is going on with it. You just have an update and, oh, great, here's $4 million for winning the team stuff. But I mean, it really is the singles. If you think about great team golf, which is Ryder Cup, which is President's Cup, they're usually going head to head on particular holes. They're playing for holes. So again, with it being stroke play, it's different, but they just never made that a really intriguing part. Like, right. I don't know of anyone that cares at all who went. Like the Aussies last week in Adelaide, I'm sure they were all going for Ripa JC, who is the Australian team with Cam Smith and Leishman and those guys.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I mean, unless I guess your favorite player is on one particular team, maybe you gravitate towards those, but there's no history, there's no personality, there's no anything to it. And funny enough, I mean, that Anthony Kim victory in Adelaide was the most significant moment in the history of Live Golf, and I don't think it's even close. And that was all done because he actually had to come and earn it. Like, he came out of retirement, and the mystery of Anthony Kim, he came back, no one could believe what he looked like and all this stuff. And he was terrible. I think he shot 80 in the first round. I mean, he was really struggling. And, to his credit, he says, hey, I'm going to work really hard, 1% better every day. That was his big mantra. So he gets the 2-year kind of exemption, and he wasn't on a team. He was playing as a wild card. Well, he didn't maintain status on tour. So he had to go and play in that Live qualifier. And to his credit, he finished second. So yes, he earned a spot back onto Live. And then for him to win, I believe, the second tournament of the year. And dude, he was down at the beginning of 18 and they played in threesomes. He was playing with Bryson and Rom, and he was 5 shots back of both of them. And he shot a 9 under par in the final round and won. It was incredible. I mean, this is a guy that was almost dead a few years ago, had given away all his clubs, didn't play for 10 years.
Crazy
story. It was like that. That's the greatest thing that's ever happened in Live. And I think more people will be paying attention to it, but it still has never really done it. So the TGL has taken what should be the most fun and best parts of this team golf, like the threesomes. They take turns hitting shots. Like, it's 3-man alternate shot, basically.
Yeah.
And then the final 6 holes are head-to-head battles. They've done a great job with it. I'm interested to see what the future of it is moving forward. But for tonight, it's the only show in town. So we may need to get a little sprinkle on it. But
well, I've asked at Play Alberta and I haven't heard back yet. So while I'm waiting for that, if we can't get that up, what do you think about putting a play in together for the Lock Shop partner parlay on futures for NHL awards? Because I'm looking here, and I don't know. We could talk our way through it, but I mean, right now, let's say, for the Rocket Richard Trophy, Nathan McKinnon's minus 263. Connor McDavid's plus 460. Now, if you're saying, okay, you've talked about the effects of McDavid coming back from this loss and just grabbing his team by the collar and saying, get on this frickin' train, we're going. What are the reverse effects for Nathan McKinnon and Devon Taves that, said they probably lost sleep? They probably haven't slept, at least not soundly. I mean, Nathan McKinnon is 6 goals up on Connor McDavid right now, but that is quite a spread. Minus 263 to plus 460.
Where's Celebrini?
Plus 7,900. For the Rocket.
The Hart Trophy?
No, for the Rocket.
Oh, the Rocket.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, do you think that gap can be closed? Because it's McKinnon and McDavid, and then the next one's Cole Caulfield at plus 1950.
See, McDavid's so brilliant that he feeds all these other guys, and we see the way Hyman is going. Like the Art Ross to me is a lot more interesting,
Okay.
if we're just talking about that sort of head-to-head matchup, and that's really a three-way race between Connor, Nate Dogg, and Kucherov as well. And Kucherov's also in the mix for the Hart Trophy, to be honest. I'm just looking. I would say.
So Celebrini for the Hart is plus 320. Kucherov is plus 500. McDavid is plus 765.
And McKinnon's probably minus 200 something.
Sorry, McKinnon is leading the way at minus 250. You like Celebrini there, don't you?
Well, I think if San Jose makes the playoffs, he's going to get it.
Okay.
Like, to me, basically, this is in fact, what is a better Celebrini's plus 300 for the playoffs, and the Sharks to make the playoffs are plus 225. Like, the fact of the matter is that, McKinnon and the Avalanche had that crazy start, but they've fallen off a little bit.
Correct.
Excuse me. And they're just going to, like a lot of teams, like, he's not going to be pressing crazy in the last 8 games to win those individual awards. It's going to be getting ready for the playoffs.
That's a good point.
The Sharks are going to have to, and it's probably going to come right down to the end. He is their team. You look at him, he's top 3 or whatever in scoring.
Yep.
He's got this big boost coming off of the Olympic Games. Like, I think if any player comes out with another gear, it's going to be him. Just the excitement and the youth of being a 19-year-old in his position. And listen, it's probably not fair to McKinnon or McDavid, but I do think there's a little bit of voter fatigue of those guys always being the finalists.
Well, there always is. There always is.
Yep.
Like, we see this in every sport too.
So the Sharks would be one of the best stories of the year if they can make the playoffs. If they do, it'll be because Celebrini drags them in. And if they do, I think that he probably gets a ton of votes. And others might be split between Kucherov and McKinnon and McDavid. So it is fascinating. I mean, like, for the wild card right now, San Jose, they fell off a little bit beforehand. They're 58 points, but they've only played the 55 games.
Yeah.
So they've got that extra game. And at that point, they move up. They're 5 back right now. But again, they've got a game in hand. It absolutely could happen. So, like, the value on the Celebrini award for me is there. And it's sort of a fun one to go because I think we're really talking about can they go and make the playoffs? Where are you at on the Norris?
Well,
is it a pick 'em there?
Yeah, it's Werenski and Makar both minus 110.
Yeah.
The next highest is Quinn Hughes at plus 2,200. So once again, this comes down to who's, like you said earlier, you would be surprised or shocked if Columbus made a run and made the playoffs.
I think if that happens, I think it's kind of similar to the Celebrini situation.
Are we talking ourselves into a play here, Huss?
A Werenski-Celebrini combo for
oh man,
the new kids on the block.
We're a couple sick puppies, but I like it. I mean, that would be a good number. Right now, so the boosted number on Celebrini would be plus 330. I could probably work on that to get it a little bit higher. But I'll send, you know what? I mean, 'tis the season for futures, Huss. Because if both of these situations play out and Columbus makes the playoffs, San Jose makes the playoffs, which I really do think both teams could. Because they're in striking distance. They're in that area where it's anybody's game.
Columbus is right there, too. I mean, they are. The other. I just wanted to see the stats. Let's see for the points overall. I mean, you know what? If we wanted to make it a 3-banger, like really make it a big number, I think we include McDavid to win the Art Ross.
Okay, that would be
McDavid, Art Ross, Werenski, Norris, Celebrini, MVP, Hart Trophy.
I mean, that would be a good number.
It was. I mean, if we wanted to be more conservative, you could just go McDavid, Art Ross, Werenski.
Well, no, let's get that Celebrini. I like the Celebrini.
I think so too. I mean, again, that's the toughest leg of it. I mean, it's obviously a much higher number, and it's entirely dependent on San Jose making the playoffs. But I mean, if you want to talk about the definition back to the award of most valuable player, I would say that is that's Mac. I mean, imagine that team without Celebrini.
Oh, that would be bad. I've sent that in, so that will be we'll do that as the Lock Shop partner parlay, Huss. I like that. Celebrini to win the Hart, Werenski, Norris. I'll get that number up and we'll get it over to send to the good people over at playalberta.ca. We'll get that up. Huss, what's coming up on WST before we depart?
Well, Jets are back at it. So heading out to Vancouver. We've got Connor Rabchak's actually in van for the game, so he'll join me to start off the program. UFC has moved an event from Ottawa to the Peg.
Really?
Probably not coincidentally. It's the first Saturday of the playoffs, and I guess the building looks a bit more available right now. I don't know how that went in, but our buddy Aaron Bronstetter is going to come on from Sportsnet to kind of fill us in on the card, how it happened, who's on the card. Headliner of it is going to be Canadian proper Mike Malott. And, of course, his brother Jeff played with the Moose and the Jets for about 3 or 4 years.
Oh, nice.
And now he's playing with the Los Angeles Kings, so he knows the city well. So we're going to get into that. And then a lot more on moving on from the Olympics, Jets, stretch run, trade deadline, Murat Atesh. And our buddy P. Greg, he's going to jump on as well a little bit later on. So, big show coming up in about 5 right here on WST.
Well, I put in my chat, too. You'll like this, to the good people there. And they don't always follow the sports as closely as we do. But they said, who is Werenski Norris? So I'll get that up. Huss, this has been fun. Look, it's going to be you and Maddie Iwanek here tomorrow, so I'm sure you guys will set the stage for the upcoming golf this weekend. Go TGL. I hope you get some plays in for that tonight. But as always, Huss, it was great to have you join us here.
Hey, you too. And you know what, cool guy? When we're back together later on this week, we're going to have a full slate of games.
Let's go.
And we'll be back.
We'll go big game hunting together.
The sting from Sunday will continue to lessen. And we'll be able to just stress out about our own teams right now. But
yes,
great as always. I'll talk to you Thursday and tell Iwanek to come locked and loaded for tomorrow's show.
Oh, he will. He will. All right. This has been the Lock Shop presented by Play Alberta, as well as all as Edmonton Sports Talk is brought to you by Play Alberta. Don't go anywhere. We've got 2 guys and a goalie coming up, followed by EST Afternoons, hosted by Matthew Wannick. And Zach Kubish is filling in as Hernan and Joaquin are on the morning show this week as the boys are down in Mexico, if you haven't heard. And then stay tuned from 3 to 6. It'll be myself and Reed Wilkins on the Reed Wilkins Show. On behalf of Hustler and myself, Jay Milne, thanks for tuning into Lock Shop. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.